My name is Zal Hoffman. I'm a lifestyle chef, and welcome back to yet another cook along for our Viavi challenge today. Now, this morning we spoke about one Viavi, 3 meals, and we are currently on lunch. Now, usually lunch for me is quite a quick meal. You're either out busy with meetings or things like that if you are not in lockdown. So it's usually that kind of meal that I sort of prep beforehand, or always have pre-prepped ingredients. For that reason, I have already got pre-cooked chicken fillet here. I've got beautiful long stem broccoli. We're going to go through all the ingredients, and I'm also going to be explaining sort of the health benefits thereof. And then here in my pot, I'm actually going to just tilt the camera down a little bit so that you guys maybe just for a brief second can see all the ingredients. I'm going to be explaining it with my hands, and then I'll move the camera back up. So here in my pot, beautiful quinoa. I have pre-cooked it with a little bit of turmeric. Now, turmeric is a fantastic anti-inflammatory. It's got an anti-inflammatory ingredient in called curcumin. Now, your body can only absorb curcumin if you either combine it with an oil base. In our case, we're going to make use of a little bit of olive oil, but not in today's recipe because we're using the beautiful fats in our Viavi avocado, of course. And you can also pair it with ground black pepper, which really helps absorption of nutrients. We are going to be grinding some ground black pepper over our dish once we are done with that. So in there, like I said, this is beautiful quinoa that I have then pre-cooked with some turmeric. Then, of course, over to our Viavi avocado. As you can see, I've only used a third this morning because, the challenge is to make use of one avocado throughout the whole day. And if I can just sort of bring it closer to the camera, you can actually see it hasn't even started to brown yet. And I haven't done anything to this avocado. After using it this morning for breakfast, I literally placed it back into the fridge. Then, absolutely love pineapple. Now, this is sort of pre-cut pineapple. Oh, the light in this kitchen is not too great. Let me maybe just have a look. There, that's better. As you can see, it's sort of just pineapple chunks that I have pre-cut. Absolutely love pineapple. It's anti-inflammatory. Also helps with the digestion, especially when you're making use of a protein like your chicken. And then I'm also always quite a fan of sort of red ingredients. This is beautiful pepper juice we're going to make use of today. This morning I made use of rosa tomatoes. For that reason, I decided, maybe a little bit of pepper juice for lunch cannot hurt. Then over to my pre-cut beautiful herbs. This is flat leaf, the Italian parsley that you get. Now, that is sort of going to be the greenery with my long stem broccoli in my salad. Reason being, it's an anti-inflammatory, and I just find it such a mild peppery taste, a fantastic ingredient sort of to add. It's so versatile and it goes beautiful with our quinoa in the pot, of course. And then last but not least, then this is one chicken fillet that I have sort of pre-cooked. I absolutely love, maybe that's a better angle, absolutely love sort of oven roast majority of my chicken fillets. The trick is there to always sort of soak it in for at least 6 hours in a salt or a brine water before you place it in the oven. That helps it remain succulent and moist. And for that reason, it's a fantastic all-rounder protein to always have in your fridge. And then, of course, your long stem broccoli. Why do I love long stem broccoli? Well, broccoli is an alkalizer, it's anti-inflammatory, it's also high in fiber. So I'm going to be sort of tilting the camera just back to my face so I can feel like I'm talking to someone. It's just sometimes so hard when you make use of devices now, cooking all the way from home, and you don't have all that extra cameramen and people that can assist you in the matter. So we are trying to make the best of this situation, of course. Now, where do we start and what do we do? Now, over to my pot of quinoa. Today, I'm going to sort of dish up my lunch in this bowl. This is one of my all-time favorite bowls here at home. I just find it to be a very generous, wholesome portion. And because we are making a salad for one, I decided, well, why can I not make my salad in my favorite bowl today? So over to that, all we're going to do is sort of just start adding roughly about 150 grams of your quinoa into your disher bowl. Ideally, if you prefer a salad with a more sort of thoroughly through a mixed kind of texture, and you're not going to be mixing it by yourself. Remember, you do feast and eat with your eyes, so it's always quite important to make sure you can see all the ingredients so that you can really just get excited for what you're about to have for lunch. For that reason, now we have already added the quinoa. Now, because I love a little bit of greenery just everywhere, I'm going to start by then sprinkling a little bit of my flat leaf parsley. And then I'm over to my broccoli. Now, I'm obviously not going to add this as is. I'm going to chop that up a little bit, as well as my chicken fillet. Now, when it comes to cooking chicken, I always love making a little bit of an almond flour crust. The reason for that is almonds is an alkalizer, of course, and meat, majority of the time, does cause quite a bit of acidity. So you are always trying forever to sort of eliminate majority of that acidity. Now, over to our avocado, of course. Let's just talk about our Viavi avocados. This is, of course, the star of the show. And the whole challenge today, for those of you that only joined now, is we're making use of one avocado. I've cut it up this morning. I made use of a third, as you can see. Just again, for those of you that maybe just joined now, if you have any questions, do pop me any questions that you have. I might not answer them right now. If I do miss them, I can always answer them, of course, afterwards. But the trick about this avocado, and it's actually such a fantastic, let's call it magic by nature, if for lack of a better, description, because this avocado does not brown easily. And as much as I love lemon juice is of course an alkalizer, but lemon juice, majority of the time, people add it to avocado to sort of prevent it from browning. Now, I haven't touched this avocado apart from cutting out my first third for this morning's breakfast, and it still hasn't changed color, which means it is quite a fantastic product, especially for the home consumer, because of course food waste is just quite a big concern. And now with lockdown, it is COVID-19, you have to sort of only go to the shops for essentials. Often going to the shops on a daily basis can be obviously a big problem at this stage. And for that reason, again, this is a fantastic avocado to always have in your fridge, because of the fantastic, let's call it fridge life, shelf life for lack of a better word, because it has more than 10 days plus for the home consumer to then always have that perfect avocado every single time. Then of course it is, when it comes to the flesh and the taste of this avocado, it's so like nutty and creamy. You actually don't want to ruin this beautiful flavor by adding your lemon juice. And then, like I said, you are really getting the best of both worlds. Now, what I'm going to do here is maybe start. Now, this morning I sort of made a cross just sort of to mark it for myself, because ideally I would like to keep using only a third, of course, and not be sneaky and use a little bit more for lunch. So I'm just going to cut my second third off. There we go. And another fantastic benefit of the Viavi, of course, is it's got a smaller pip. You see, smaller pip, which means more flesh, people, which means more food, of course. So there you can see, fantastic. Still, this is our 2/3 that was left after we make use of our first one this morning. So the one with the pip is, of course, going back into the fridge. This would be my final ingredient for my dinner this evening that I would be cooking from 5:30. So if you are close to your computer, close to your smartphone, please tune in, because you will not be disappointed with what we're going to be doing with this third for dinner this evening. But over then back to this one. So because it is a salad, I'm actually just going to garnish my beautiful quinoa chicken salad with this fantastic avocado. However, I am going to add a little bit of a sesame crust to it. But purely, remember, it is for presentation purposes. Sesame seeds, of course, is quite a high plant-based protein. It's also high in fiber. And if we focus on the fiber content, like there's a lot of fiber as well in your avocados, that is sort of immune boosting, but it's also fantastic for the guts. Now, if the gut is healthy, the body is healthy, and of course, the mind is healthy. And because we are in lockdown, that is also quite important, because we need to stay positive, people. And so often people don't realize what you consume really affects you from a mental perspective as well. But I'm going to stop talking just for a second because I need to get cooking, because lunch is about to get served. So to my long stem broccoli, I think maybe what I'm going to do is just tilt the camera a little bit again so that you guys can see what I'm doing and how I'm sort of plating and presenting this salad. So just a second there, going to tilt it slightly down to the bottom so that you can see my ingredients. So in here, this bowl, you can of course see we have our quinoa with our flat leaf or Italian parsley. Then over to my broccolis, I think 2 of them for today would be more than enough. Now I have sort of pre-steamed them already, so just cutting them up. Sometimes the ends of the stems aren't that great, so these 2 little pieces I'm actually going to leave And this, start by sprinkling that over. Oh, beautiful. Just look at that. Always love playing with colors in the kitchen, of course. Reason for that is, remember, you do eat and feast with your eyes. So it's quite important to make sure that you also make use of vibrant ingredients, healthy ingredients, of course, because if you're having children and you are struggling to give them all the right foods to eat, this can already be so helpful. So over to my chicken. I do sort of love cutting them into thin little strips, just like that, like you can see. And usually for me, when it comes to salad, remember quinoa is low GI. It is an anti-inflammatory, but it is also the complete plant-based protein. For that reason, I'm not going to make use of the whole chicken fillet, sort of just like that. We're going to add that to the top there. Fantastic. And then pineapple. Love making use of roughly about 50 grams of pineapple. Sort of just add that there to the side. Of course, afterwards, I'll be taking photos so that we can also share this on our social media. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to pop them onto my Facebook page now, as well as a little bit later, that I can answer for you. And I'm going to tilt the camera back so I can keep talking, of course, while I'm going to be just cutting up some pepperdew. Okay. For me, I'm quite a fan of pepperdew, so just chopping up roughly about 3 to 4 of them, sort of just presenting them as well. And then last but not least, our third of our Viavi avocado. So luckily for this, it's such a perfect ripe condition. I'm going to make use of a tablespoon and just sort of start by scooping that out. Perfect, just as is. Okay, and just put it on my cutting board. And again, for ever cleaning hands, I'm quite a germaphobe and also such a perfectionist. So I love making sure that my cooking station or my working station is in perfect condition at all times. Now over to my sesame seeds. Now for that, you're going to need like sort of a small little bowl, just like this one. Sprinkle some sesame seeds in there. And then back over to our avocado. Just sort of going to drop that in there and push it down. And I do want to show you guys, because it makes such a big difference when it comes to the presentation of the salad, but it's such a straightforward sort of, step or a concept. And it just really adds that little bit of extra fiber, a little bit of protein, and of course crunch. So often when it comes to meals, you are sort of craving that little bit of crunch, especially when it comes to a salad. And so often the lettuce that is in the salad is not enough when it comes to that crunch that we are all looking for. So as you can see, sort of just sprinkling it with sesame seeds. Remember, this is our beautiful creamy Viavi avo, and we didn't add any lemon juice or anything like that. Look at that. Okay. As you can see, the sesame seeds really just to cling onto this piece of avocado. There you go. And as easy as that. All you're going to do now is sort of just cut it up, present it on your salad, and you can thank me later, because it's such an easy wow factor trick, and it really is so simple. Just cutting the avocado up into small little wedges. Now I think what I'm going to do, because I do want to show you guys again, I'm going to make use of a small little, just a fork, and showing the perfect little piece of avocado. So you can see now there, it's got the sesame all the way around. And if you really had extra time, you could have toasted them in a pan, added a little bit of paprika, and they would have had a beautiful sort of barbecue taste. Even a drizzle of raw honey could have just hit the sweet spot with regards to that as well. So I'm now going to place this avocado on top of my salad. And then it's almost time for lunch. There we go. Remember, we are making use of the same Viavi avocado. This is our second third that we are making use of today. I made use of the first third this morning for my breakfast. And for those of you who have missed it, we made a Viavi avocado infused French toast. And the trick there was really to mash the avocado, mix it up with a little bit of unsweetened almond milk, and then whisk it into the egg so that the bread can absorb all that beautiful creamy and nutty flavor. But this is me, this is my salad. I'm going to be presenting this on my social pages this just in a few minutes. Of course, we need to finish it off with beautiful ground black pepper. And then why not add that last little bit of Italian parsley. Well, this is me. This is my lunch. Guys, I will see you later. This is our Viavi Thursdays. Second third of our avocado has been used. I'm going to have it for lunch, and I'll see you then for dinner at 5:30. Till then, cheers.